Once upon a time in a pretty little town, there lived a pretty little girl who always wore a little Red Riding Hood. She wore it so often, she was called Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said to her, "Dear daughter, your grandma is feeling ill. Please take this basket of yummy food to her." Now, when a mean old wolf who was always spying on Little Red Riding Hood heard this, he wanted the food for himself. So he hatched a very nasty plan. He ran to Grandma's house as fast as his legs would carry him. When he got there, he knocked on the door. "Who is it?" said Grandma.
"Why, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood,"
said the wolf in his sweetest voice. And his voice was so sweet, it fooled Grandma into unlocking the door. Well, when Grandma saw it was the wolf, she ran right out of the house to get help. Then the wolf sprang into action. He put on Grandma's nightgown and nightcap and got into Grandma's bed, pulling the covers up right to his nose.
"What a great plan,"
chuckled the wolf. Right then, there was a knock at the door.
"Who is it?"
said the wolf in his sweetest grandma voice. "Why, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood," said the voice from outside. When Little Red Riding Hood came in, she looked at the bed and said, "Grandma, what big ears you have."
"The better to hear you with, my dear,"
said the wolf, still hiding under the covers. "Grandma, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood.
"The better to see you with, my dear,"
said the wolf. "Grandma, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood.
"The better to eat you with,"
cried the wolf, and he jumped out of the bed. Just then, Grandma came running into the house. She brought a woodcutter to help her. The woodcutter grabbed his axe, waved it at the wolf, and started chasing him back into the woods. The wolf forgot all about eating Little Red Riding Hood and ran away as far and as fast as his legs would carry him. After their great adventure, Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma thanked the brave woodcutter and gave each other a big hug. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs who went out in the world to build their homes and seek their fortunes. Each little pig built a house to live in. The first little pig built a house out of straw. The second little pig built a house out of sticks. And the third little pig took a little more time and built a sturdy little house made entirely out of bricks. A big bad wolf came upon the street where the 3 little pigs lived side by side. He thought, roast pig. He knocked on the door of the first house.
Little pig, let me in."
"Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," came the pig's answer.
"Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow the house in."
Which he did easily because the house was made of straw. The first little pig ran over to his sister's house made of sticks next door. Soon the wolf came knocking.
Little pigs, let me in."
"Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins."
"Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow the house in."
And he huffed, and he puffed, and the house of sticks came tumbling down. Escaping just in time, the 2 little pigs ran to their brother's house. Luckily, the third little pig had been smart enough to build his house out of bricks. Again, there came a banging at the door.
Little pigs, let me in."
"Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins."
"Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow the house in."
And the wolf huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed. But this time, nothing happened. Not even a big storm could knock down the brick house. Spying the chimney, the wolf climbed down and landed with a splash in a big boiling kettle the little pigs had waiting in the fireplace. "You're in hot water now," laughed the 3 little pigs. A spider named Anansi had 6 sons, each named for the one thing that son could do best. One son was called Sea Trouble because he could see trouble a mile away. One son was called Road Builder because he liked to build roads. One son was called Stone Thrower because he liked to throw stones. One son was called Cushion because he had a big belly for his brothers to bounce on. One son was called River Drinker because he liked to drink water from the river. And the sixth son was called Fish Catcher because he liked to catch fish whenever he was hungry. One day, Anansi was very late coming home. Sea Trouble climbed the tree and saw a terrible sight. "Oh no," he shouted. "Father has fallen into the river and has been swallowed by a big fish." "Quick, follow me," said the son named Road Builder. He made a road for the sons to climb down the riverbank. When they got there, the son named River Drinker drank the river dry. Along came the fish that swallowed their father. The son named Fish Catcher quickly scooped up the fish, cut it open, and out sprung Anansi. Everyone was very happy.
Yeah!
But what do you think happened then? Suddenly, a hungry hawk swooped down and grabbed Anansi. Stone Thrower picked up a stone and threw it at the hawk. Bam! He was right on target. And down from the sky tumbled Anansi. But luckily, Anansi had nothing to fear. The son named Cushion was there to save the day. Anansi was very grateful to have such helpful sons. And the next night, he came upon the perfect thank you gift, a beautiful glowing ball for them to share. But the ball was so wonderful, each of the sons wanted it for himself.
It's mine. Give it to me. Mine.
Let me have it.
The sons kept on arguing. So Anansi decided to give the glowing ball back to Nyame, the sky god, who brought the glowing ball with him back up to the sky, where it became the moon that shines down upon us to this very day.
Long ago, a boy named Jack lived with his mother in a little house. They were very poor and very hungry. All they owned was a cow. "Jack, take the cow and sell her in the market so we will have money to buy food." Setting out for town, Jack came upon an old man. "Hey, I'll trade you 5 beans for your cow." "Beans?" said Jack. "Oh, but these are magic beans." Jack traded the cow for the beans and ran home. His mom was not happy. "Beans? What good are these? Go to your room now, young man." When Jack woke up the next morning, he saw a giant beanstalk rising into the sky. It had grown from the beans. Jack climbed the beanstalk until he reached a cloud, and there was a huge castle. Jack sneaked in. The furniture was gigantic. Then came a booming voice. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman." And there he stood, an ugly giant, tall as a tree. Jack hid until he went away. Then Jack heard another voice. It came from a little hen trapped in a cage. "Please save me from the mean giant." Jack freed the hen and they ran for the beanstalk. But the giant was right behind them. Boom, boom went his giant feet. As Jack reached the ground, the giant was coming down the beanstalk after them. Jack's mother grabbed an axe and began to chop down the stalk. The giant quickly climbed back up the cloud. "I'm glad you're safe," said Jack's mom. "But now our cow is gone and all we have is this hen." Then the hen laid an egg of solid gold. They were rich beyond their wildest dreams. "Jack," she said, "I think we're going to live happily ever after." Once upon a time, in a house in the woods, lived 3 bears, Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. One morning, Papa Bear made porridge for his family, but it was too hot to eat, so the bears went for a walk while it cooled down. A little girl named Goldilocks smelled something delicious and followed it right into the bear's house. She tasted Papa Bear's bowl of porridge, but it was too hot. Mama Bear's porridge was too cold. Baby Bear's porridge was just right, so Goldilocks ate it all up. Yummy! Then Goldilocks was tired, so she sat in Papa Bear's chair, but it was much too hard. She tried Mama Bear's chair, but it was much too soft. Baby Bear's chair was just right, but she rocked on it back and forth so many times it broke into pieces. Now Goldilocks was very tired, so she tried Papa Bear's bed. It was much too hard. She tried Mama Bear's bed. It was much too soft. Then she tried Baby Bear's little bed. It was just right, and Goldilocks fell fast asleep. Soon the three bears came home and saw someone had tasted Mama and Papa Bear's porridge and had eaten Baby Bear's porridge all up. In the living room, someone had sat in Mama and Papa Bear's chairs, and Baby Bear's chair was broken into pieces. Upstairs, Mama and Papa Bear's beds were a mess, and Baby Bear saw what looked like a pile of blankets on his bed. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," Baby Bear cried, so loud that he woke up Goldilocks. "Ah!" screamed Goldilocks when she saw the bears. "Ah!" screamed the bears as Goldilocks ran down the stairs and right out of their house.
Once upon a time, there lived a turtle that played beautiful music with his flute in the forest. One day, a man walking through the forest heard the music, and when he saw the turtle, he decided to bring him home to make turtle soup. He put the turtle in a cage and told his children, "Don't let this turtle out," and he went back to work in his garden. The turtle played his flute and danced, which made the children laugh. Then the turtle stopped. "Dance some more," said the children. "There's not enough room in this cage. Let me out, and then I can," said the turtle. So the children opened the cage, and the turtle began to dance closer and closer to the woods. Suddenly, he danced right under a bush and disappeared into the forest. Worried that their father would be mad, the children painted a rock to look like the turtle. When it was time for dinner, the father thought the painted rock was the turtle, and he began to cook it. He stirred and waited, but something was terribly wrong. This soup would not cook. He was cooking a rock. But where was the turtle? The children told him that the turtle had tricked them, and he had escaped. Now they were sorry they had tricked their father. The next day, their father went back into the forest and searched, but there was no sign of the clever turtle anywhere. In China, there once lived a young field worker named Mei Lin who dreamed of being a great artist. But he was so poor, he could not buy a brush to paint with. One night, he was visited by an old wizard. "You have worked very hard, and you have earned this," he said, handing Mei Lin a beautiful brush. "Use it wisely," said the wizard, "for it has great power." On his wall, Mei Lin painted a rooster. Suddenly, the rooster leapt off the wall and flew away. It was a powerful brush indeed. The next day, Mei Lin came upon a farmer struggling to plow his rice paddy. With his brush, he painted a water buffalo to pull the plow, and Mei Lin used the brush to help many others. When the greedy mandarin, who ruled the land, heard of the magic brush, he ordered Mei Lin to paint him a pile of coins. Mei Lin refused, and the mandarin threw him in jail. That night, Mei Lin used his magic brush to draw a door and escape. But soon the mandarin caught Mei Lin. This time, he took the brush away, but in his greedy hands, the brush was useless. The mandarin handed the brush to Mei Lin. "Paint me a mountain of gold." Mei Lin painted a mountain of gold in the middle of a great sea. He painted a ship to take the mandarin to the mountain. When the mandarin reached the gold, Mei Lin painted a dark cloud, which brought a great storm, destroying the boat and leaving the greedy mandarin trapped forever, all alone on top of his mountain of gold. Mei Lin had used the brush wisely, indeed.